What is the message to Islam? What do you want to say to Islam?
I'm ready to fight. Can't wait to fight him, and I will knock him out. I promise everybody. I promise you, peoples in Brazil. I promise my coach. We're gonna change of everybody's life, and I will bring that belt to Brazil. He's good. He's have a good kickboxing, bro. But of course I'm much better. So I'm excited to test myself against him.
For Islam and saying that they believe Carlos Prates has a good shot at beating him now after seeing this Ian Gary fight, what's your reaction to the MMA community some of them being a little bit negative about the way this fight played out?
Great, set it up and bring on the next one. We're expected to fight the best ones available. So if it's Prates, great. If it's Morales, great. If it's Shavkat, great. Bring them. I don't care. Islam is not going to care who he fights. Well, look, if we are pound for pound number one and we claim that, and which we do, we shouldn't be afraid of anybody. And Islam's not. So I don't think he cares who's next. If it's the number one guy the UFC picks, that's who we fight. So, yeah, it's like you come, let's see what you can do. We'll prepare for you too, just like everybody else. And we have to respect every one of these fighters.
Carlos Prates claims that he's next for Islam, claims he was told, you will be Islam's next opponent. You're fighting for the world championship. Signed a new deal, signed an 8-fight deal. I mean, Prates gave us a lot of information. It would be unusual if in the process of giving us lots of information that he slipped something in there that wasn't so. But it's also possible that there was a misunderstanding.
Carlos Prates just fired a chilling warning at Islam Makhachev, promising to knock him out and rip the UFC gold away for Brazil. But is he really the most dangerous striker Islam has faced? Whereas Javier Mendez has already sent a brutal response. Prates or anyone else, Islam is ready to destroy whoever stands across from him. And with Chael Sonnen reacting to Prates' claim that he was promised the next title shot. However, Carlos Prates admits he knows he'll be the underdog, but that only makes this fight more dangerous because he isn't backing down. He's coming to shock the entire world. He says this isn't just about the title or money. He truly believes he can beat Islam Makhachev, and he's ready to prove everyone wrong.
I know I'm really underdog, but not because of the title, only because of the title or money, but I really want to fight him because I want to test myself against him, I'm really excited to do this. I really think I can win. I can shock the world. I can make everybody surprised.
You feel it. You really truly feel it in your heart.
Yeah.
I feel like it's all coming together for you.
I will do this.
You believe you'll be the one to beat him.
Yeah.
Javier Mendez shut down the hype around Carlos Prates, making it clear that one spectacular win over JDM doesn't automatically mean he can handle Islam. He gave Prates his respect, but basically warned him that Islam is a completely different kind of opponent, and his recent knockout success means nothing once the fight hits the ground. Now, the real question is whether Prates can survive Islam's pressure, takedowns, and elite control after all that confidence.
Carlos Prates is an incredible fighter, but remember, Carlos Prates fought with Ian Gary, and how did that go? Just because his last fight was fantastic against which Mo,
JDM,
right? JDM. Sorry, yes, JDM.
Yeah,
doesn't mean it's going to be Islam. It's a different fighter. He did fight fantastic against JDM.
Talking about the UFC 330 Islam versus Ian fight, Prates has no patience for Islam's grappling heavy style. He calls those ground battles boring and wants nothing but brutal action and knockouts. Now the question is, can Prates turn that hatred for Islam's style into the weapon that finally exposes the champion?
I think it's boring, I don't watch fights at all, striking fights or some of friends. Of course, I like to watch, but especially if there's some grappler fighting, I don't like to watch. I like to watch people's getting knocked out, a lot of action and things like that. And it's crazy because now I really like to train grappling, more than striking, but I don't like to watch. Yeah, but I don't like to watch grappling and fighters go to the ground and bored fight. I don't like.
By mocking Makhachev, Prates sees the openings he believes Islam's takedown game can be exposed, especially when the champion is striking. He respects Islam's kickboxing, but then drops the bomb. I'm much better on the feet and can't wait to test himself against the champion. Now, the real question is, can Prates stop Islam's takedowns long enough to unleash the striking advantage he believes will shock the world?
When you watch him, especially up close, do you see holes? Do you see, things that you're going to try to exploit when you fight him? He's been 17 wins in a row, and usually very dominant. But yet, I'm wondering, when you watch him, do you see holes that you're going to try to exploit?
Yeah, especially on the takedowns.
Oh,
Try takedowns on when he's striking. I like to see the way I can, he defend something, stop some takedown or things like that.
okay. What about on the feet? What about the striking? What do you make of his striking?
He's good. He's have a good kickboxing, bro. But of course I'm much better. So I'm excited to test myself against him.
Javier Mendez makes it clear Team Makhachev doesn't fear Prates or anybody else the UFC puts in front of them. He says if Prates is next, bring them, because Islam is ready for the best available opponent. Prates may be coming off a devastating win, but Javier refuses to let the hype intimidate his team. The message is simple. Team Makhachev fears nobody, and if Prates wants Islam, they're ready to find out what he can really do.
I don't care. Islam is not going to care who he fights. Well, look, if we are pound for pound number one and we claim that, which we do, we shouldn't be afraid of anybody, and Islam's not. So I don't think he cares who's next. If it's the number one guy the UFC picks, that's who we fight. So it's like you come, let's see what you can do.
However, Carlos Prates just sent Islam Makhachev a brutal warning, promising he's ready to fight and knock the champion out. He's not chasing a decision. Prates is coming for a violent finish, determined to shock Islam and bring the UFC gold back to Brazil. But can Prates actually deliver on this KO promise against one of the most dominant fighters in the UFC?
What is the message to Islam? What do you want to say to Islam?
I'm ready to fight. I can't wait to fight him, and I will knock him out. I promise everybody. I promise you, people in Brazil. I promise my coach. We're gonna change everybody's life, and I will bring that belt to Brazil.
Javier Mendez calls Islam versus Prates a very dangerous fight, admitting Carlos is an explosive striker who knows exactly how to use his range. But Javier immediately turns the spotlight on Prates. Let's see how well he does with the takedown defense. He believes Islam can stand with Prates, but ultimately wants to drag him to the ground and test whether he can escape, reverse, or survive. Now, the real question is terrifying. Can Prates' knockout power stop Islam before Makhachev gets his hands on him?
Realistically, how do you think a fight between him and Islam would look if he was the next one?
It's a very dangerous fight because he's an extremely explosive, striker that knows how to use his range really, really well. And I look forward to the challenge. So if that's who they pick, I look forward to it. And let's see how well he does with the takedown defense. And let's see how well he does with Islam striking too. It's like everybody was thinking that Islam had to take Ian down. Well, it didn't quite work out as well as people thought, did he? He hit him with the beautiful kick. He hit him with some decent strikes, So it wasn't like he had to take him down. It was the best option, and obviously it doesn't take a scientist to know that with Prates is always going to be the best option to take him down. So it's a matter of, we're going to stand with you, and if you give us the right opportunity, well, we could take you out, but ultimately we want to take you to the ground and let's see how well you defend. And then when we get you down, let's see how well you're able to get back up or reverse us. So those could be the telltale signs of what's going to happen if we do get that fight.
Ariel Helwani puts Prates on the spot. If Islam is so dominant, can anyone really survive 5 rounds with him, or is a knockout the only answer? Prates doesn't hesitate. He insists Islam must be knocked out because he sees a decisive victory over the champion as nearly impossible. Now the question is explosive. Can Prates turn that terrifying prediction into reality and stop Islam before the final bell?
It's a wild thing because you don't just say you're going to beat him. You say you're going to knock him out. You believe that in your heart.
Because I think the only way to beat Islam is knocking him out.
You can't go the distance with him.
Yeah, I don't think somebody can right now. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Amosov, I don't know. can fight in 5 rounds and beat him by points. But I don't think nobody can beat him by points, so I think that the easier way, like not easier, but the less hard way is knocking him out.
Chael Sonnen isn't buying the Carlos Prates versus Michael Morales showdown as the answer for Islam Makhachev's next challenger. He warns that putting these two killers against each other could eliminate one future title fight and leave the UFC with fewer options. But with Islam potentially waiting on the sidelines, Chael admits the matchup could have a dangerous twist. So the real question is, will the UFC sacrifice one contender just to decide who gets Islam next?
There was a suggestion by Islam, and the media seemed to like it, that you put Prates and Morales against each other. Let them identify who the number one contender is. Now, the problem with doing that is we don't really want to know. I mean, we need guys to be number one contenders, so if we've got 2 of them, we put them together, we eliminate a future title match. But if there's nothing else to do in the meanwhile, okay, great. By the way, if we do go with that theory, then we're going to shelf Islam for X amount of time. And I don't know, maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's bad, maybe that's one of the things that Islam enjoys about it. Maybe it's a key factor that Islam even brought up in the first place, have these 2 fight, because he wants to take a little bit of a break.
Chael Sonnen makes it clear he has zero problem with Carlos Prates fighting Islam Makhachev next. He calls Prates awesome, powerful, dangerous, and massively popular with the fans, making him a serious title threat. But then Chael drops the bomb. He still doesn't understand how Prates suddenly became the next contender. If Prates really has the Islam fight locked in, what changed behind the UFC's doors?
I have no problem with Prates being next. I have no problem with anything Prates involved. He's awesome. He's got a shtick. The fans love him. He's a big man. He's a big, powerful man. I just don't know how he's next. I thought that Morales was next. In fact, it was reported that Dana White told Morales, "You're next." Now, that was an issue, if you guys remember this, of the reading of the lips. Dana says something to Morales after Morales' tremendous victory inside Madison Square Garden that people said was Dana telling him that you're next. I saw that same moment, and that's not what I got, but I'll repeat the story.
Wrapping it up, Chael Sonnen doubles down on Michael Morales as the real next man for Islam Makhachev, pointing to his backup role as a massive advantage. Morales is literally waiting in the wings to step in for the title fight on just 24 hours notice if disaster strikes. Chael says history heavily favors the backup fighter becoming the next challenger, and he believes Morales is next. So where does that leave Carlos Prates? Is his claimed Islam title shot already in serious danger?
But then here Morales is as close to next as you can get. He is in the backup spot. If anybody blunders a weigh-in, which happens sometimes, then Friday morning, Morales is going to find out that he's going in for the title. Oh, and by the way, he doesn't know if that's going to be against Islam or if that's going to be against Gary. He's going to have to just step in at 24 hours notice against either guy. Now, history says, with only 2 exceptions to this, history says if you were the backup fighter, you were then the fighter in your next match. Everybody that's ever held down adequately, meaning they got licensed, they train, they hit the scale and made it. Anybody who's ever done that, 2 exceptions, is next. And I think that Morales is going to be next.
The Islam Makhachev versus Carlos Prates war is heating up fast, with Prates boldly believing he can knock out the champion and shock the UFC world. But Javier Mendez says Team Makhachev fears nobody, and he wants to see whether Prates can survive Islam's takedowns and relentless control. Meanwhile, Chael Sonnen questions whether Prates is truly guaranteed the next title shot, with Michael Morales still lurking as a dangerous contender. Now the biggest question remains, will Prates get his shot at Islam, or will the UFC throw another obstacle in his path? Carlos Prates believes he has the power to finish Islam Makhachev. Javier Mendez believes Islam can expose him on the ground. And Chael Sonnen isn't convinced Prates is even next. With Morales waiting and the title picture getting more chaotic, the road to Islam is becoming a war of its own. So who deserves the next shot, Carlos Prates or Michael Morales? Drop your prediction below and let's see who the fans believe can truly dethrone Islam Makhachev. If you enjoyed the breakdown, like this video and subscribe for more UFC news, reactions, and fight drama. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next explosive update.